Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining today. We just finished the wonderful pastimes of the lifting of Govardhan Hill by Sri Krishna. So, and part of that pastime was where Lord Krishna encourages the Brijabasis to circumambulate Govardhan. So we thought we can also do the same. We can go around Govardhan, walk around Govardhan, but of course we'll do it virtually, which is probably a little easier than doing it physically. It's roughly a 22-kilometer walk, but it is a really glorious. It really is a glorious walk. So I'd like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we complete this Govardhan Parikrama. Don't get too tired. So there's a very nice mantra that we can start with. Namaste Girirajya. Oops. Shri Govardhan Namine Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramandanda Dhyayine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the King of all hills, Govardhan Hill, the source of enjoyment for the senses, land, and cows. He is a servant of Krishna and is Krishna himself. So this is simultaneous. He puts an end to unlimited sufferings and bestows this supreme bliss. Not too sure where this verse is from, but it's a beautiful verse. Okay, so this is Govardhan Hill. As you can see, there's I've got it, I think, on automatic. I've got it on automatic. Yeah. Yes.
Prabhuji, can you show the map?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. It's automatic. I must have it on automatic flow. Let me just see if I can stop that, actually. Just one second.
Prabhuji, just stop me.
Just 1 second. Let me see if I can stop that. I think that's done it. So this is the map. There's 71 different places. We'll try to do a quick run through Govardhan Hill. So before we start, we pay our obeisances, full dandavats, at least mentally. And normally what we do is we come to the place near Radha Kund. We don't actually go into Radha Kund, we start from near Radha Kund. And it's round about here that we start, round about here. This road goes to Vrindavan, and okay, and this is where we start. So number 1, 2, and 3 are Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, Lalita Kund, but we'll come to those at the end. So we'll start with number 4. So let's make a start, and that's Mukhara. We don't know exactly what that is, but Kusum Sarovar is very, very famous. This is Kusum Sarovar, and here Kusum means flower. Kusum 1 is the forest of flowers. Shrimati Radhika used to come here on the pretext of picking flowers with her girlfriends, but her real intent was to meet Krishna, with whom she would have quarrels and sarcastic exchanges full of ras. These are just to increase Krishna's enjoyment, actually. And this is a really glorious place. It's very beautiful. It's done such nicely. Many pastimes took place here at Kusum Sarovar. One morning, Shrimati Radhika and her Sakhis arrived on the bank of the lake to pick the fragrant flowers that bloomed here in abundance. Seeing a branch full of flowers, she pulled it down with one hand, started to pick the flowers with the other hand. Knowing that Shrimati Radhika was coming, playful Krishna had climbed that tree and stationed himself on that very branch. This is Krishna's cunningness. So what did he do? Using all his weight to push down that branch, he had hidden himself so that Srimati Radharani could not see him. Radharani became absorbed in picking flowers from that branch. When Krishna suddenly shifted to another branch, at once the first branch sprang up, lifting Srimati Radharani with it. So she was in the air. Radhika cried out for help, and Sri Krishna immediately leapt from the tree and caught the hanging Srimati Radharani in his arms. There you go. You can see the picture. Seeing this, the Sakhis began clapping and loudly laughing, but Radhika began to scold him. She knew he was behind it all. So this is a classic pastime. So in this Sarovar, many tortoises live. They're said to be great sages, actually, living there for centuries in their bodies, meditating on the divine pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And legend has it that if you feed these tortoises, then you become healthy. We've never actually done that. Be interesting to do that. So this is in the scriptures, anyone who bathes in the sanctified waters of this lake become eligible to witness that ambrosial eightfold pastime, Astaskaliya Lila, of Sri Sri, Radha and Krishna. During Lord Chaitanya's time, this place was known as Sumana Sarovar. It is stated in Chaitanya Chaitanya that Sri Chaitanya also took bath here. Often devotees don't take bath, they don't dip into Radha Kundu Shyamkund, but they actually come and dip into Kusum Sarovar. Yes, Nanivel?
Yes, Prabhuji. All the buildings on the sort of bank of the Sarovar, they've always been there, or they were built, or they've been there since Krishna's times, or they've been built recently?
Yeah, as far as I know, they've been built in the 17th, 18th century by some kings, some princes who lived there for quite some time. And then now it's pretty much abandoned. At one point, I think when Prabhupada first came there with his disciples, they were staying here for some time, I think. But it's not somewhere where I think people don't reside there anymore.
Okay.
It's been abandoned. But very, very scenic place. Huh? Do you remember seeing this? We came here, right?
I'm trying to think hard.
Yeah, because what we did a car Parikrama of Goverdhan, and we just came and had darshan at Kusum Sarovar. We didn't bathe here.
No. Trying to think whether.
Yeah. So very beautiful Kusum Sarovar. And Kusum Sarovar is here. We started the walk here, so we're walking barefoot. And this is where Kusum Sarovar is, number 5. Then number 6 is the temple of Uddhav. At this place is a temple dedicated to Uddhav. This temple was established by Krishna's great-grandson about 4,008 years ago. And Uddhav is also a cousin of Lord Krishna. We'll see a lot more. We've already talked a lot about him through the Bhagavatam, Canto 3. But in the cantos 11 and 12, he comes again. And there's Uddhav Gita is in there, actually. Very interesting. He is the son of Vasudev's brother and also the same age as Krishna. His body resembles Krishna's body almost exactly. And Krishna had a lot of regard for Uddhav. After delivering Krishna's message to the gopis, Uddhav realized their exalted position and prayed, "Let me be fortunate enough to be one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan." Because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their feet. Uddhav remains here in the form of grass known as Gumilata, Gumarata. So very interesting. This is Uddhav temple. I haven't personally seen this one myself. This is the deity at Uddhav temple at Kusum Sarovar. So number 7, Ashokvan is there. So a little forest. This Kunj forest grove is also on the banks of Kusum Sarovar. This is where Krishna braided Srimati Radharani's hair. This pastime is described by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the Govinda Lilamrit. There is a small temple on the left of Kusum Sarovar that marks the place where Krishna decorated Radharani's hair. Very interesting. And then we come to Narad Kund, which is number 8. So let's look at Narad Kund. Let's see where it is.
Guruji, can you go to the map?
Yeah, there it is. Narad Kund is here on the other
Yes,
side of the
Guruji.
road. Good. It's so good that you are so interested, young man. Very, very good. Very good boy. Okay, let me just, now after Narad Muni heard the glories of Supreme Gopi Bhav from the mouth of Brinda Devi, a strong desire to serve Radha and Krishna in the form of Gopi arose in his heart. So he received a Gopal mantra from Lord Brahma and began his sadhana bhajan. After performing worship for many yugas, Yogamaya Purnamasi dipped Naradji in Kusum Sarovar and he received a body of a gopi. Thereafter, he obtained the qualification of performing seva of the divine couple. Seeing Narad there in the form of a gopi, Krishna requested him to stay at Naradvan and write Bhakti Shastras. So very interesting. Although Narad had been cursed by Daksha not to be able to stay.
Guruji can't see.
Can you hear? In one place.
Yes,
Krishna
Guruji, now we
informed,
can see the photo.
Krishna informed Narad that because Vrindavan Dham is not part of the material world, the curse of Daksha would not apply here. So Narad eternally stays in this place. Again, this is a place we haven't actually visited. So when we go next, we intend to spend a little bit more time around Goverdhan.
Guruji, I went to this place.
Okay. After another bath in Kusum Sarovar, he changed back to his male form and returned to this place where he wrote the famous treatise on devotional service known as Narada Bhakti Sutra. And we use this Narada Bhakti Sutra. There's quite a lot of instructions about how to worship the Lord in this scripture. Narad Muni may have instructed Prahlad here in the womb of his mother, since it is said that he took her to his ashram and instructed little Prahlad in her womb for some time. In any other place, it would not be possible for Narad to stay for some time. And it is concluded that he must have done it here in Braj, where Daksha's curse had no effect. The only thing with that is Prahlad Maharaj's appearance was before Krishna Leela, but often the yugas are not defined. So this boon to Narad to stay in Braj may have taken place in the previous yuga, before this Dwapar Yuga here. It may have taken place in the previous Dwapar Yuga. So that's the way we understand how it can be Narad who has who lived here and preached to Prahlad Maharaj. So Narad Kund, then Ratna Kund. Let's have a look where Ratna Kund is. Ratna Kund is here. So Ratna Kund is a lake said to mark the spot where the demon Sankasura carried off Radharani, who was seated on a jeweled throne. On the full moon day after Shiva Chaturdasi, Shivratri, Sri Krishna and Balaram were playing holy with the gopis, using syringes to squirt each other with water of many colors. The sweet music and melodious rags filled the air. At that time, a servant of Kuvera, Sankachuda, who
can't see the next slide.
Who's considered Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, to be an ordinary human being, tried to abduct these extremely beautiful gopis. So I think this same Sankachuda may have been involved in kidnapping Nanda Maharaj as well. We'll find out when we go to that chapter. In voices of distress, they started to call out, Krishna, Krishna. Sri Krishna ran to the call of the gopis with great speed and killed Shankachuda with his fist. He took the jewel from the demon's forehead and gave it to Balaram, who sent it to Srimati Radharani through the Nista. So that's Ratna Kund. And then Rasastali. Rasastali is number 11. And that is just here. Rasastali. The concrete circle with the seal on its place is on it is the place where gopis would dance. So this is where the dance, Raslila dance used to take place. Ratna Simhasan, number 12, nearby. And Srimati Radharani sat down on the nearby Ratna Simhasan's throne. This throne is made entirely of precious gems like diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. Of course, we can't see it at this moment, but this is when the divine couple were there. Shyama Kutir, number 12, nearby. And Shyama Kutir is situated amidst thick clusters of trees near Ratna Simhasan. Here, Shri Shyam Sundar smeared his body with Shyam-colored musk, dressed himself in Shyam-colored clothes and ornaments, and entered a Shyam-colored Nikunj. Even the gopis were not able to recognize him. Shyam means black or dark. One of the most beautiful spots on Goverdhan Parikrama. The whole area of the Ras dance pastimes is protected by a fence-like barrier of cactuses. Very interesting. Yes. Shyam Kutir also marks the spot where Govardhan Hill first starts to appear above the ground. From this point on, Govardhan Hill begins to rise until it reaches its highest point just before Aniyor village. So we can see here, this is Govardhan. So we can pay our obeisances to Govardhan. We can start to see him from this spot. This place is famous because the actual lotus footprint of Lord Krishna is impressed upon one of the rocks of Govardhan Hill. It is said that even the rock of Govardhan Hill began to melt when Krishna played his flute. And that is how this footprint came to be. Little further on Govardhan is emerging even more from the ground, and beautiful cows and bulls remind us of Krishna's pastime. So this is the place where Krishna's foot is imprinted on this Govardhan Hill. So that was Shyam Kutir, and then we got Gwal Pokhar. And that is number 13. Where is that? Let's find it. There it is, just past number 12. And there we go. Gwal or Gwala means cowherd boy, and Pokhar means pool or kund. After an early lunch at Gwal Pokhar, Krishna would manage to slip away from the company of the cowherd boys, head off to Radha Kund, where he would meet with Srimati Radharani and the gopis. Shantanivas, Jugal Kund, and Kilola Kund. So that's 14, 15, 16. They're here on this side. Again, we haven't been to those. Jugal Kund, on our way on the left side of Parikrama Road, there is Jugal Kund, where Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd boys would stay on their way from Gokul to Nandagram. And then Koliya Kund, Kolen 1, where Krishna would play ball with cowherd friends and enjoy water pastime with the gopis. Passing by the ear of Govardhan, we proceed to the Govardhan town. So this is interesting. Here, this must be Govardhan town, the big temple there. Just as one enters the town of Govardhan, on the right side of the road is a beautiful palace built by the king of Bharatpur. Panchatirtha Kund, number 17, which is there on the way. At the side of this palace is the Panchatirtha Kund, which contains the water of the Pancha, five holy rivers. These are Narmada, Gomati, Sarayu, Kanchi, and Vetri. Again, haven't been there. Mukharvinda, 18, okay. Mukharvinda temple, there are two Shilas in this temple. So this is where we actually go into near the lake of Manasi Ganga. And we would come here. There's an opportunity to bathe here, very beautiful opportunity. They've really made nice facilities for bathing. And they have these Shilas that they worship. One Shila is marked with the outline of Krishna's crown, Mukut Shila. According to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the other Shila is the mouth of Goverdhan, Mukharvinda Shila. Pilgrims pour a lot of milk every day to this Goverdhan Shila. So this is very famous. We go there often. Every time we go there, we would bathe this Shila. This is Chakratirtha along that same Manasi Ganga. This was created by Sudarshan Chakra and is embedded in the northern bank of Manasi Ganga. The temple of Chakaleshwar Shiva Linga is at Manasi Ganga. It is one of the 5 presiding Shiva Lingas worshipped in Vrindavan. There are many interesting places around Manasi Ganga. One of them is the Bhajan Kutir of Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami would perform Govardhan Parikrama as his daily vow. When Sanatan was thinking about moving from this place because of mosquitoes, Lord Shiva, Chakaleshwar, disguised as a Brahmin, came and told him that mosquitoes would no longer disturb him. So even now, this place is almost free from mosquitoes. So that's Chakaleshwar, Manasi Ganga. So this is this whole area is Manasi Ganga. This lake is Manasi Ganga. Very interesting. So Manasi Ganga, Manna means mine. Ganga refers to the Ganga river. Krishna was once tending the cows with the cowherd boys. The demon Vatsasura came in disguise as a calf. We've done this. We've come across this. Wanted to kill Krishna. Krishna, however, was aware of him, took him by the hind legs and whipped him around and threw him up into a tree. So this is really beautiful, Manasi Ganga. Again, pilgrims bathe here. They have really good facilities here, like a shower facility. You don't have to go into the lake itself. So because Krishna killed a demon in the shape of a calf, the cowherd boys asked him to take bath in the Ganga in order to purify himself. Not wanting to leave Raj, Krishna informed cowherd boys that he would call the Ganga to appear in Braj. Krishna entered into meditation and Ganga Mata manifested in front of him in the form of Manasi Ganga. There's a lot of residences around here, temples. On another occasion, Nanda and Yashoda, hearing of the glories of Ganga river, had a desire to bathe in it. They heard how Garud captured a snake and on his way accidentally touched his tail in Ganga. And the snake was transformed into 4-armed Vaikuntha resident, and amazed Garud took him to Vaikuntha instead of eating him up. So this Manasi Ganga is very powerful. Ganga is very powerful. So they wanted to visit the Ganga. Seeing the arrangements made for the journey, Krishna, not wanting to be separated from them, informed Nanda and Yashoda that there is no need to go out of Raj, since all the holy places are present here. When Krishna arrived with Nanda and Yashoda and others on the shore of Manasi Ganga, Ganga Mata personified appeared from the water and offered prayers to the Lord. When the inhabitants of Vrindavan saw Ganga, they offered obeisances to her and took bath in her waters. So that's for the devotees, that's proof that this Manasi Ganga is no different from Ganga herself. And the beauty is that Krishna's lotus feet have touched this Manasi Ganga, and he's played with his friends here. His associates, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, have taken bath here. Many pastimes of Krishna and the gopis also took place on Manasi Ganga. And the most famous is the one where Krishna, disguised as an old boatman, made the gopis feed him with sweets and milk, massage his legs and arms, and to continue rowing, and finally threw all their pots, jewels, bracelets into the water to prevent the heavy boat from sinking. So he pretended he was an old boatman, and the boat was very old, lots of holes in it. As they were in the middle of the Manasi Ganga, the boat started sinking. So at that time, Krishna did his usual nut cut when he suggested that the boat is too heavy. So he was saying to them, you should throw all of your pots over, which they did. The pots containing butter, etc. And eventually he said, okay, the boat is still too heavy. You need to now take your clothes off and throw that over as well. And then they realized this is no other than Krishna. But then he also arranged for a little storm and a quick cuddle with Radharani, for she wanted him to protect her. But he was exposed. And the gopis took revenge on him at some point. That's all happened in the Manasi Ganga. Very beautiful pastime. Then we got to the Brahma Kundu, which is here on the Manasi Ganga. Now, Brahma Kundu, what happened there? This was formed by the water that was collected after Lord Brahma bathed Krishna. So we'll see that in the next few chapters coming up. This is where, oh, did we already do that? Can't remember if we already done this kidnapping of of the calves and the cows, cowherd boys. This is where Lord Brahma offers his prayers after he took the cowherd boys away and hid them to test the power of Krishna. It is located on the southern bank of Manasi Ganga. (22) Manasi Devi Temple. 22 Manasi Devi on Manasi Ganga itself. There you go. Is located on the bank of Brahma Kundu. Manasi Devi is presiding deity of Manasi Ganga and one of the four main goddesses of Brajadam. So the other goddesses are Brinda Devi in Kamyavan, Yogamaya, that's Purnamasi in Vrindavan, Pataleshwari Devi in Mathura. Haridev Temple, again quite famous, 23. Haridev Temple is near Manasi Ganga. It was established by Krishna's grandson, great-grandson, 4,800 years ago. Haridev is one of the four presiding deities of Vrindavan. The temple is 2-minute walk from southern bank of Manasi Ganga. Temple was built by King Bhagandas of Jaipur, whose son Rajaman Singh built the Govindji temple in the 16th century during the reign of Emperor Akbar. The original deity of Haridev was moved to the town of Rajdhani near Kanpur when Aurangzeb sent his soldiers to destroy the deities and temples of Braj. But the deity is no longer in Rajdhani. One day, Srimati Radharani and the gopis were waiting for Krishna to come to meet them. As they were waiting, the gopis started to feel intense separation from Krishna, and they began to chant, Haridev, 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 over and over again. And their feelings intensified to the point of almost giving up their life. Suddenly, Krishna appeared in this beautiful deity form of 7-year-old boy holding Goverdhan hill in his left hand and flute in the other. The ecstasy of Radharani and the gopis knew no bounds. Since then, Radharani and the gopis would come here every day and offered worship to Govardhan Nath, Haridev with many offerings. So this is very interesting. Mad with the static love, Gauranga came to the village known as Goverdhan. It was here that he saw the deity of Haridev and offered his obeisances. Then he began to dance before the deity. Hearing of the Lord's wonderful activities, all the people came to see him. This is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sri Haridev is the presiding deity of Giri Raj Govardhan, and no Govardhan Parikrama is complete without his darshan. Manasi Ganga is traditionally the starting and ending point of Govardhan Parikrama after bathing in Manasi Ganga and taking darshan of Haridev. So many devotees start there. We start always at near Radhakund because we like to end at Radhakund. But this is another way to start as well. Govardhan town. So we are going to go through a few things here. Govardhan town, Rinam, Mochan Kund, and the Dan, the Gati, Giriraj Mandir. So what are these? 24, 25, 26. So there they are, 24 to 25, 26. So this is the Govardhan town. Very famous temple. Dan Gati temple. Once on the bank of Govind Kund, Sri Bhaguri Rishi performed yagya to praise the deity. The cowherd boys and girls brought the offerings for the same. When Radharani brought her offerings from the other side, Barsana, Sri Krishna became a toll collector and obstructed her path and demanded toll tax to cross from here. So Dan Gati, Gangati, it means this temple where the toll tax is collected. And this is amazing figurines they have there. If you see here, this is where this is located. There's Govardhan here. It's not the real Govardhan, it's plastic or whatever, figurine. And the deities and everything is here. There you go. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So Krishna is holding it up. You can see with one hand, left hand. And the Gopas are also helping him.
Can you show the before pictures? I didn't saw.
There you go. This is the temple. Huge temple. Beautiful temple. Beautiful deities as well.
Prabhuji, what is the 23rd you told?
23rd?
Yes, Prabhuji.
23rd was Haridev temple. Haridev. We went through that. Dangati. So this is where the actual place of
Prabhuji, can you show that Krishna lifting over the Nile?
yeah, this one. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
On
It
top.
looks like a real Krishna.
Yeah. It does look absolutely amazing when you see it. So this is the place where this narrow path was used by the gopis, and they used to take their milk products to the other side of Govardhan. Krishna would block their way and demand a tax.
Prabhuji, one day I heard a story that the gopis were taking the taxes to Madura.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We won't go through this in great detail, but this is where Radharani would argue with Krishna. Since when have you become Dahi here? I.e. the collector. Did you inherit this place from your father? Don't be so insolent, Krishna says. I am Vindavaneshwar, the ruler of Vrindavan. How is that? You are a rular of Vrindavan? So then Vrinda, Krishna says, is my wedded wife. The property of the wife is also property of the husband. Vrindavan is the kingdom of Vrinda Devi. Therefore, my kingdom is Acha, Lalita says. They're all cheekily saying this. We have never heard anything about this. Let us see what Vrinda Devi says. She turned to Vrinda Devi, who was smiling. Is this black one your husband? Vrinda Devi replied, never. I've never seen this guy. This is my kingdom. I hand it over to Vrindavaneshwari Shrimati Radha Rani. And the Sakhis all burst out laughing. Krishna became embarrassed. He still demanded the tax to be paid. So this is the classic pastimes they used to have. Then there's Radharani's footprint, number 27, which is just there. There you go. Srimati Radharani's footprint. 28 is Lakshmi Narayan temple, which is there. Can't remember this temple. At the crossing of Mathura Road is the Lakshmi Narayan temple. That is one of the 108 Divya Desam temples mentioned by the Alvars as being one of the most important temples in Bharat. Interesting. And this is a Babaji who is doing a parikram, Dandavat parikram.
Prabhuji, can you go to before slide?
This one?
No, Prabhuji, even before.
This one?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Lakshmi Narayan temple.
I didn't visit this temple.
Many of these Babas, they do Dandavat parikram. Sometimes they do 108 obeisances.
Prabhuji, once I saw a video, there some people, there was coming flood from Goverdhan here, but they continued to do parikram for Goverdhan.
Yeah. Can you start the parikram at any point? Yes or no? It's not that you have to stick to a certain spot to start. But it's recommended. There's a few spots that are recommended. This Manasi Ganga is one, because you pay your obeisances to Manasi Ganga and you pay your obeisances to Haridev. So it's a classic place where most will start. Or Radhakund is a classic place as well. Dani Raj temple, ISKCON temple. So there's an ISKCON temple here, little temple. There you go. This property, beautiful property, was formerly owned by Maharaj Chaturpur of Madhya Pradesh, who was worshipping a beautiful Govardhan Shila in a small shrine. When devotees moved in, they continued the worship of this deity. So there you go, there's the deity. During digging of large hole for underground water tank, the devotees discovered a Govardhan Shila that turned out to be exactly the same size and shape as the existing Krishna Shila. Okay, this Shila was whitish in color, and now it is worshipped as Balaram at Krishna's side. So Krishna Balaram, very good. So this looks like the blackish color Shila, and this looks like a little less blackish. So from the temple roof, there is where are we? A good view of Dani Raj temple on the top of the hill, dedicated to Krishna's tax pastimes. The temple has been abandoned. Priests have moved the worship to a new temple of Dani Gati Giriraj Mandir at the crossing of Mathura Road. Since devotees from Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya never step on Govardhan Hill, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, the priests wanted the deity to move down to be visited by more devotees. Papa Mochar Kund and Danivartan Kund. That's 31, 32. There you go. Danivartan Kund. Once, when Radharani and her friends were at Radhakund, one of Radharani's pet parrots informed her of a great sacrifice being conducted.
Okay, I can't see your screen from the photo of Govardhan Shila.
I think your thing is must be your internet must be playing up, huh?
Yes, Raj, now I can see the Danivartara Kund, but I didn't saw previous photos of this.
Yes, I show you. There you go. This is from the ISKCON temple. This is the ISKCON temple there. This is the deities in the ISKCON temple. This is the roof. From the roof, this is the site.
Where is the roof? Ah, yes, Raj.
Yeah. And then we are at Danivartan.
Raja, can you showed her once the slide was going fast that time.
There you go. There you go. And this is also showing the Dhanagati pastime. So that temple is now no longer in use. That temple is no longer in use because it's on Goverdhan. Nobody used to go and visit it. So they moved the deity to where devotees can visit. So Dhanivartata Tara Kund. Radharani and her girlfriends were at Radha Kund, one of the Radharani's pet parrots, who used to be like carriers of messages, informed her of a great sacrifice being conducted at Govinda Kund. Taking bath and dressing very nicely, Radharani and all her girlfriends left for Govinda Kund, carrying golden pots of milk products on their heads. Meanwhile, Krishna's pet parrot told him that Radharani was proceeding towards Govinda Kund along with her girlfriends. When Radharani and the gopis arrived, Krishna challenged them to stop and pay the tax. This tax is a big pastime in Brajalila. You're regularly using this pathway to sell your milk products, but you never pay the tax. So he told Radharani that each of her assistants must pay a handful of diamonds as a tax. And by his clever use of words, the argument turned personal, suggesting that Radharani must pay extra tax for all the beautiful parts of her body. Radharani became angry and walked away, but Krishna forcefully stopped her. He told Radharani that she could go, but Lalita must stay as a hostage to make sure she returns to pay the tax. Oh, Krishna. So Lalita, in fury, threatened them by calling Mother Yashoda and Radharani's mother-in-law, Jatila. Finally, Nandimukhi, Radharani's close companion, convinced Krishna to release Radharani because her reputation as a chaste lady would be ruined, and assured him that the gopis would return next day to this kund to pay tax in full. However, gopis were feeling very angry at Krishna for threatening them in this way. Next day, Lalita, Vishaka, and hundreds of gopis hid themselves around this lake. When Krishna arrived with a few cowherd boys, the gopis pounced on them, beat them, tied them up to a tree, and humiliated them in various ways. So extraordinary pastime, extraordinary pastime. So the various tax pastimes went on almost daily, because due to the influence of Yoga Maya, the gopis would forget the previous day's episode. So these would happen again and again. They would keep repeating. They're described in Danali Kali Chintamani by Raghunath Das Goswami, Dan Kali Kumuta by Sanatana Goswami, and other Vaishnava literatures. Very interesting pastimes. We've run out of time. Okay, so we can stop there and continue on probably Tuesday. I think Monday is Prabhupada's special pastime took place. So we'll continue with Goverdhan Parikrama on Tuesday. Hopefully we'll finish it that day. Goverdhan Parikrama ki jai. Just remember where we are, number 33. Okay, Hare Krishna. So thank you so much. Let's make a stop there. Oh, any questions or any comments? While I find where we are.
We must go and do this parikrama.
Yeah, we are doing it virtually.
Yeah,
And actually, this is even better because we've been to Goverdhan how many times? Many times. And done the parikrama. But a lot of these places we've never even seen.
Yeah,
So,
that's what it is. We should go with this map.
Yeah, we'll go with the PowerPoint presentation.
We'll go with the map.
Yeah, go with the map. and the different pictures, so we recognize where we are.
Yeah, I've been there, but I can't remember much about it at all. I haven't been to every place, but few of them. But
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, same. I mean, we've been to many places, but many we haven't as well. So it'd be good to go with proper knowledge.
Take
All
a
right.
local guide from the temple.
Sorry?
Take a guide from the temple.
Hopefully we can probably give the guide a guide ourselves if we're going to do this again in the Kartik Mass. So by that time, we'll know a little bit more about Goverdhan Hill. So very interesting. Thank you. Goverdhan Hill ki jai.